Okay, today we're going to talk about how to give a PowerPoint presentation, kind of effective tips on using PowerPoint in a presentation so that the PowerPoint doesn't take over your presentation. This is especially important for a business class where you're going to have to be giving several presentations in your future. It's also important for this class because we're an online class and you want to make sure to have effective PowerPoint presentations when you're doing it. Okay, some of the things we're going to go over in this presentation are the 10-20-30 rule, notes on using pictures and graphs, and some points on academic slides, which you'll be doing in your university career. Okay, the 10-20-30 rule. Different people have different ideas of what 10-20-30 stand for, and they're all good, but this is a good rule of thumb for us. So 10 means no more than 10 slides. If you have more than 10 slides, it's probably a rather lengthy presentation and you want to cut it down. 20 stands for no more than 20 words on a slide. So you want to keep your words brief. You don't want everything that you're saying to be on your slide. Most of your content is coming from you, not from your slide. A good way to keep these short, your word count short, is to use this bullet point like I have here. Just have bullet points with 1 or 2 words, just your key idea really. And finally, you want your font size to be 30 point or more. This ensures that people in the back of the room can see it easily. Or if you're using a computer or you're looking at it from another device, that even a smaller device, you can see everything that's written rather well. This, by the way, is following that rule of the 30 font size or more. The above here is, of course, more than 30 font. Okay, using pictures and graphics and graphs as well. I'll give you some hints on pictures and graphs to use. Okay, so for your graphs, make them count. Make your graphs be clear, easy to read. It shouldn't be small and all stuck together. The good thing about PowerPoint is that it gives you a lot of options for graphs. This is just a graph I pulled out from PowerPoint. Now notice there's nothing written on there yet, but it gives me all the spaces in which to put things in. And I can fill this in. If I change the numbers, then those bars also change in size. Everything is changed for me. I can also change the color combinations. If I wish, I can make them the colors of my choice, but I just left this the way it is. Okay, pictures. Keep your pictures relevant. If you notice here on the side, I have this picture of a pig. It has nothing to do with what I am talking about. If that's the case, leave it out. I mean, I know it's a nice, cute little pig, but it really has nothing to do with my presentation, so it probably shouldn't be there. Give credit. So this picture of the pig that I took was stock photography from PowerPoint. So I really don't need to give any credit here. But if I take a picture from somewhere else on the web, I need to give credit to the photographer where that came from. Uh, and often you'll see it written as source and then where it came from. And that would be written right down here below. Final is be aware of cultural images. So some images have meanings, carry meanings in one culture that might not carry in another. So just be aware of that. Be aware, this is why it's always important to know the audience you are talking to. Also, another good rule of thumb is if you're not really sure what the image is, but you kind of like it because you think it's cute or whatever, you probably don't want to use it. It might have a different meaning somewhere else. That includes, of course, characters in different languages and those sort of things as well. If you're not sure what it is, stay away from it. Okay, some academic slide tips. So for us here at Malloy, we use the APA format. Uh, MLA Chicago has similar rules for using slides as well. So whenever you're giving a slide, a presentation, you want to give your sources. Where did the information come from? Um, for example, here, 71% of respondents agree. Now that's a stupid um, reference because it doesn't say what they agree on or whatever, but this is just so that you can see how I give the source. This is just like if I were writing a paper, I would give the source with the person's last name and the year. Um, Also, like I showed you in the previous slide, you want to label pictures and graphs. You saw the graph had a graph title in it. That's good enough for the label for the graph, but you always want to give your pictures and your graphs labels or titles. Finally, on in your presentation, your last slide or your next to your last slide should be a reference page. You should always give a reference page, and that's with all of the references that you referred to in your presentation. And I'll show you an example of that at the end. Also, notes. Now, if you, while you are making your PowerPoint presentation, down at the bottom, so somewhere around here, you'll see a little button and it says notes. If you press on that, you can write notes that you can use as a script or that you can use to kind of prompt you later. In addition, if you're doing this for a company or you're doing this for a class or something like that, these notes can be included in the presentation. So if you print up the presentation, you can also print up the notes as well. Okay, a reference page. This is what a reference page would look like in your PowerPoint presentation. Notice it is not just a copy of a link of where you got it from. It's just like you would write in the APA format, where you have the person's name, the date, the title, and where that came from. And same here and same here. It's not, once again, just a copy of a URL. If you're unsure of how to properly write a reference page in APA format, just Google APA reference page or APA source page or something like that. Also, I want you to notice that the second, third, fourth, however many lines are all indented. Only the first line pops out. That makes this easier to read. And this is generally the way we write a reference page. This way of doing it, by the way, is called a hanging indent. Now, If you don't know how to make a hanging indent in your PowerPoint slide, I have a completely separate video on how to do that. And just look in our classes reference section, and it should be up there. Finally, always include an end page like this that says thank you and whatever, just like you always include a title page. Keep your name in there, your class, the name of the class if you're taking a class. You could also give your email address if this is a more professional presentation so that people know where to contact you.